going to fall. So we want to know that. So for every week before we get into any trade, we always take a look. This is called the end of day sector chart. They're the major sectors in the U.S. economy. Where's the money flowing? This is tracking big, huge institutional money. Are they putting money? This is the past several months, September to December. And it shows you, now, are the highs getting higher? Are the highs getting lower? So in this case, this is called consumer staples. It shows that they're still putting money into this overall sector. So if you said, hey, I see that there's big money going into this, you could just buy this entire sector. It's called consumer staples. You can buy it as an ETF. The symbol is XLP. If you wanted to just buy this whole thing, just go, hey, done. Okay, that's really cool. But what if you said, man, I'd like to buy the best stock in that sector where money's going. I want the cream of the crop. I want the best of the best stock in this moving sector. Okay, then you hit this button. It's called give me only the fundamentally best stocks in this entire grouping. That's really cool because we do all the work for you. Money is flowing in this and it's fundamentally a good stock, which means, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats here. So let's take a look at the next. Scroll down, retail. Well, this is a really big surprise. So September, October, November, getting to holiday season, retail, up, 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 up. Money has just started going into retail, but now that we're getting into the past couple days, the market's been pulling back. But overall, look how huge the push is toward the end of the year when it comes to retail. Huge, huge push overall. So again, if you wanted to buy just the whole sector of retail stocks, the grouping ETF is called XRT. Or if you wanted to find the highest rated stock fundamentally, you click on give me the good stocks or almost good stocks. Let's scroll down the page. Medical. All right. Is big money flowing in? Are the highs overall getting higher? Yes, they are. So we know medical is still a very good industry. We can buy the entire grouping called XLV, or you can just find the best stock in this grouping. Isn't this cool? This is really amazing because it tells you, guys, what makes a stock move? Buyers. Buyers like me or you? No, the big guys. Okay, what are the big guys doing with their money? Because trust me, it is top secret. They don't tell anybody. In fact, if you've ever seen the series Billions, it's on Showtime or HBO. It's really good. In fact, when I was watching it with my significant other, he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, shh, shh, be quiet. This is the good part. Watch. They're going to manipulate $50 million. It's really cool to see how behind the scenes, how big money moves the market and manipulates the market. Really cool. A series to binge watch if you want. But we take a look at this. If we know money is going in this entire grouping, okay, find the best stock in this grouping. Now you have the stock has a reason to continue to move. Let's scroll down the page. Autos, trucks, and tires. How many of you say, I got the best auto, trucks, and tires right now. It's the best industry. It's actually doing really, really well. So here's September, October, November, December. So big money starting to flow in this. Apparently, it's a big time of the year in the retail auto, trucks, and tires too, as well, this time of year. And basic materials. Big money's been flowing in. What we see, a high, double top, a higher high, a higher high. So this is also heading up. Here's the ETF if you wanted to buy the ETF. Let me scroll down. Industrial products. That's even stronger. This one probably looks the best so far. A high, a high. Of course, we had a big drop here in October, of course. And November still looks really, really strong. Industrial products. Construction. Ooh. Construction's been huge here in Florida. A lot of the New Yorkers they're just fleeing like in droves coming down here to Florida. Our housing prices are skyrocketing, building tons and tons and tons down here. And it looks like nationwide construction's still kind of doing well overall. So construction, computer technology. Okay, so this is still doing okay. Had a pretty big drop in October. It rebounded back in November. Now, oh, what's that look like? Yeah, Mike and Judy are shouting a technical pattern right here. Big technical pattern. Ooh, that's exciting, yes. Okay, Aerospace, wow, look at this. Aerospace looks really good. Okay, so that's still doing quite well. And oils and energy, they're coming back. This was negative for such a long time. Now here's oils. Money's finally starting to go into the oil industry overall. And then our finance, we have a couple more. Money's going into the finance business, of course. And then the last one, okay, utilities. Ooh, so money's coming out of utilities now. So when money rushes in utilities, money's been coming out for the past, let's say about 6 weeks or so. So if you're looking at this, I probably wouldn't be entering into a utility stock just yet because our highs are getting lower and so our lows are still getting lower. We wait for that to actually bottom out before we step into that. And transportation looks really strong as well. Business services, very, very strong, higher highs. Real estate, not so much. This is not the best looking chart overall. Here's real estate hit a high. We have a lower high. We have a low, a low, a lower low. So real estate's one of the weaker ones on here, which is surprising. So taking a look at that, and that's one reason I like this business, because in real estate, which I invest into, real estate, the problem is when the market drops, it's really hard to make money as the market drops in real estate, and on a monthly basis or weekly basis. In the stock market, when the market drops, you can make money the more and more drops on a weekly basis, monthly basis, etc. So I love this business because you only need to do 3 things for the rest of your life: up, sideways, or down. The good news is the market can only do 3 things for the rest of your life: up, sideways, or down. That's why the stock market is such a fantastic business. I have some friends graduating from college, and friends' kids, and they're terrified of the stock market. Their professors in college said, nobody ever makes money in the stock market, nobody. I said, really? And these kids, now that they have their degree, they're, well, no, you can't do it. I go, I'm a professional money manager. No, well, you're just lucky, but nobody can really do it. I said, where'd you learn this from? My professors who've never invested a penny in the stock market. Guys, be very careful who you learn from. Oh yeah, in fact, my nephew at his private school, it was a Catholic private high school, his teacher actually said, no, it can't be done, and Alex came to it with a test, and Alex got an answer wrong, and Alex goes, I know this answer is correct, I asked my dad, and the teacher goes, well, your dad doesn't know what he's talking about, and Alex goes, my dad owns one of the largest stock market education companies in the country, and the teacher said, well, he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. And so Alex actually said, do you want to meet my dad? And then so he told him what he did, and the teacher's like, oh, would your dad come talk to our class, please? The teacher had never invested a penny in the stock market. He was teaching just theory. And it's funny because he was trying to teach Alex, but Alex knew better because Alex saw his dad doing classes all the time and doing this. So be very careful. You know how people are so adamantly or vehemently, no, you can't do that. It's usually people who have no idea how to correctly trade the stock market. In fact, look at this. This came from one of our students. This guy's he's a really active student. I love this. He says, he's writing to our Tuesday night coach, and he says, that's from Dr. Atliff, says, I thought I would share this interesting story with you. I have a patient who is in the insurance business for a major insurance company. Now, her company also deals with stocks. Red flag. Folks, if you want to learn anything about the stock market, you go to a stock market company. You don't go to a legal firm. You don't go to an insurance company. You don't go to a bank. You go to a stock market company, period. When companies, insurance companies and law firms and tax guys and banks start trying to teach stock market, it's only because of commissions and they're crossing over and they don't understand it completely. They're very good at what they do, their first business, but try to get into stock market, they're not typically very good. And it's usually high commissions, and you tend to pay for that. So she's in the insurance business, also deals with stocks. She's been trying to get me to come to one of their information nights. I told her that tonight would not be good because I have a class. She inquired as to what I'm studying. I told her I'm learning how to manage my investments and become profitable on a monthly basis. She told me I will never make any consistent long-term profits because I could never watch the markets during the day. Okay, right there it tells you you don't have to watch the markets during the day. Everybody knows that. You can watch it at nighttime when the market's closed at any point in time. That is all we care about, is where the closing price is, because the mutual funds, they can only place their orders the last, part of the day. They can't place their orders in the middle of the day. So it doesn't matter what the middle day price is. What matters is the closing price. Everybody knows that except for people who don't really know what they're doing. I told her, okay, I'll never make any consistent profits because I can never watch the market during the day. I tried to explain to her, but at the end, there was no reasoning with her. She was adamant that the service offered by her company is the best way to go, even though she knows nothing about stock trading. To pay somebody to watch your investments, someone who doesn't know what they're doing to watch your investments. Her voice is now my inspiration to become as successful as possible. With this new skill, I will earn and double what I'm making in my practice. Just watch me. I love this. He emails all the time, and he's like, hey, look at these stocks, look at these stocks. So guys, you might have people around you. No, if they are earning a commission off you, run. When someone's earning a commission off you, you're not gonna get the best piece of advice out there. So it's always better to ask people, ask 2 or 3 people or so and ask them what they think. But typically, again, annuities and insurance products, highest commissionable. So when you're buying those, not necessarily annuities, you're always sold that, and same with insurance. If you need life insurance, go to an insurance company, period, and look at all the different choices and compare all those. But don't go to other places like, if your tax accountant starts selling investment products, no. They are not a specialist in investment products, they're a specialist at taxes, so be very, very wary of that. All right, so on the ETFs, the reason why we choose this page, why we take a look at this page before we get into any investment, is because we want to know, what's the entire marketplace doing right now? Does our entire marketplace have, is money going in or is money pulling out? And we're starting to see, so money was going in and in, but just recently, the past week or so, money has slowly started to drop. So now we want to see, where's that headed? Is it going to come down and actually break some supports? Because when you see it break support with a red arrow, that big signal to step out overall. One place you can also look for popular ETFs is on the searches page. It says popular ETFs. I'm going to click on this. There's a couple here I really want to show you that are very important. All right. So the first thing we see is, of course, the S&P 500. Yes, this is an ETF. It actually pays a dividend of 1.5%. Way more than the banks right now. So you can actually buy just the Standard & Poor's 500. You could actually buy the Dow Jones. It pays a 2% dividend. Here's the NASDAQ. It pays a 0.5% dividend. And here's the Russell Small Company, more aggressive stocks, pays about a 1% dividend. Now, what I wanted to show you, though, is the next grouping down. This is called inverse indexes. Inverse. This is the opposite of the S&P 500, the opposite of the Dow, the opposite of the NASDAQ, opposite of the Russell. And it pays a dividend. What this means is, when the market's going up, you can buy those the markets. When the market's going down, maybe you flip into the inverse. Step out of your red arrows that are going down, and then go into the inverse. When the market drops, these tend to go up. Guys, this alone, for those of you just trading stocks, that's your strategy in downward markets, or just sit in cash. Too many people will call their broker, because as a broker, we were taught, if somebody calls and says, the market's crashing, what do I do? As brokers, we were taught to say, hold on, you're in for the long term. In fact, when it's down, you're actually buying more shares as you reinvest at cheaper prices. It's called dollar cost averaging. Just hold on to it. Now that works really well in a super strong bull market like we've had the past 11 years, but we're coming to that tipping point, because we know history is a cycle that repeats itself. That's not going to work when we start seeing bear market crashes that we're going to be expecting. After a 250% increase, we know it's going to come down pretty darn hard. Buy and hold and wait it out is not the best place. When you see 3 red arrows, you hit one button, sell. Everything moves to cash. Take a deep breath, knowing you're safe, you can sleep at night, and then go look for the best investment at that point in time. Because that's going to happen. It's going to happen when you don't expect it to. It happens really fast. So taking a look as index, here's the sectors. Here's where also you can go into the oil and the gold. I know in some countries when you travel, you're not allowed to actually take gold with you or dollars. They confiscate it because they think that you're money laundering. So if you actually take your gold, I took my gold coins and turned them into jewelry. That way if I go to any country in the world, this is actually a real gold coin. I mean, it may or may not be a real gold coin if you're planning on stealing it off my neck. But you cannot actually enter certain countries. They will confiscate your assets. Unfortunately, that's what we're heading to. But if you wanted to invest into gold or oil or silver and didn't want to physically hold it, you can go into the ETF of, this is ETF of natural gas, of all oil stocks out there, or gold stocks or silver stocks. You can just buy these and they're safe, protected. There's no commissions to get in, no commissions to get out. And because it's an exchange traded fund that trades like a stock, because if you have 100 shares, you can now write a covered call, which means you could buy the gold ETF and go, oh yeah, I'm renting out my gold. Yeah, I'm renting out my gold on a monthly basis. I own it, but I'm renting it. Pretty cool. So we take a look at this. They don't pay dividends, of course, because they're just growth products. And there's currencies. If you wanted to invest in the British pound or the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen, any of these, you certainly could with ETFs. It's a really nice way to be able to trade it's a nice way to be able to put money into something and have exposure to different markets if that's what you're looking for. Most people say, I'm looking at the market, I want to make some money, but I don't want to lose a whole bunch. So I want to look for safety, but I don't want to have any aggressive big losses out there. But I still need to get some good returns. When I was a broker, people would always come to me, even like 80-year-old little widows come to me, Stacia, I can't lose any money. I want to be safe. I say, okay. Now, as they're walking out the door, they'd always turn around. But if you have a hot buy, call me. They always said that, always. Everybody wants the next hot buy. And the way to identify that is really through the chart. We can't identify it through the news because the news is typically an opinion. The way we identify that is through the chart, because if it's a hot buy, the institutions will start slowly buying it, pop the stock up, you'll get 3 green arrows with some volume, and we know that means big money starting to flow into the stock. So you have to get good at chart reading to be able to see where the hot buys are. So taking a look at that. Does anybody have a stock you want to look at right now before we get into our live trading session? Any stocks anybody has to look at? HTH, okay. HTH. All right, let's take a look. Hilltop Holdings. Get an idea. Ooh, nice trend. Really nice trend. Beautiful, guys. Very nice job, whoever found this one on that. So we take a look. Here's where we are today. Our most recent arrow, green, still good. Coval indicator turned green a few days ago. That's excellent. Let's look at our MACD. So the stock is 25. MACD is green. Fair value is 38. Very, very good here. And fundamental is good. Banks and thrifts and finances. You ever noticed? So this is the banks and thrifts. Banks always seem to make money. They don't really ever nosedive, or the finance industry. You know why? Because when you go to a bank, you go, hey, here's $10,000. Would you guys keep for safe, and put it in the savings account, trying to save money? They go, yes, we'll take your $10,000. Now, do they take your $10,000 and go lock it up in the vault? Oh, no. They take your $10,000, they put it into an account, which means their investors can go in and use that money. Now, your $10,000. In fact, as you're walking out the door, you say, thank you so much. You get your 0.5% return. They go, wait, you qualify for a brand new credit card. Would you like to borrow back your $10,000 at an 18% interest rate? And you're like, yes, this would be awesome. Thank you so much. They're just taking the $10,000 you gave you and they're lending it back out to you on what's called a credit card. That's why banks make so much money, because they're using OPM, other people's money. It's a brilliant way. They're leveraging to the max. The risk is, they're not taking a lot of risk here, because they're using your money to go out there and make bigger money. They keep the profits and give you a 0.5% return. And that's the way it is, guys. That's called capitalism, and that's okay. But now that we know that you know how to make money, we don't have to give them all of our profits anymore. All right, with that said, we are just about ready to get into our live trading example. Oh, by the way, this is for those of you, so the ETFs, if you wanted to look at some of the ETF choices, again, there are thousands of them. We've given you the most popular, highly traded ETFs, and that's really designed for someone, again, who has money in a company retirement plan. You need to get out of the mutual fund choices, but you're limited to what they offer you. Again, look for anything that says ETF or index, and then maybe look, you can take all of those choices and put them into the Income Trader Tools website and look for uptrends and 3 green arrows. If you ever have your mutual funds that have 3 red arrows, you hit sell, move to cash until you can find one that's actually moving up. So ETFs, fantastic way for a conservative person to go out there and invest into the markets. Now, asset protection kit. Some of you already have access to this, some of you don't. Some of you guys already know Don overall. The asset protection kit is really, it's a legal software kit. I have one, Mike has one, all the coaches have one. This is fantastic because there's DVDs in here written by the attorney. It's just updated at 86 legal documents that you could actually make. I remember when I first had the DVD, I popped it into my computer and it says, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to make a single person's trust. Okay, and it says, what's your name? Oh, Stacy Acevedo. And they say, what do you want to put in there? I'm like, there's a pop-up. Most people put their house. Oh, yeah, my house. And it pops up. So it auto-populates and it asks you questions. And it says, you done? Yes. Then it prints out 16 pages of legal documents from the attorney's office. You take that, get it notarized, you have a legal trust. I did mine so fast, I actually called my brother and said, hey, you want me to make you a trust too? I just made mine. It was really fun. I can make you one too. You want one? He goes, no, we can make our own, thanks. But you can actually share this with your significant others, your families, etc. This is also important because my significant other has a lot of assets, and I happen to control a lot of assets. The key is control. You don't want to have a lot of assets in your own name, because if somebody sues you, they have access to what's in your name. If you have assets in entities, then if they sue you, they don't know the entities, they don't get access to the dollars. My point to this whole thing is, when I started dating my significant other, his kids came to me and said, hey, lady, we know you're after our dad's money. And I said, what? And they said, yeah. So they told their dad, we'd like to get to know your new girlfriend. Can we go to dinner without you? He said, that'd be so great. He said, Stacy, my kids want to get to know you. I said, awesome. We get to dinner. As soon as we sit down, they said, listen, lady, you're not getting a penny of our dad's money. I said, what? And they said, we know why you're dating him, because he's worth millions. I go, he is? And I think to myself, you have this backwards. And it's funny because they said, yeah, you need to make sure that my dad passes his money on to us only and not you. And I said, and I was mad that they thought they didn't get to know me. But then I thought, you know what? Okay. I said, I will actually help you write the trust that says all the money goes to you, greedy little kids. And as a matter of fact, I'll help you do this and set this in motion, because when I write my trust, your names are not going to be on it. So I said, I'd be more than happy. I do not want a penny of your dad's money at all. Now, they should have Googled me, duh. They had no idea who I was. They just thought I was, now they found out, they're like, oh, okay. Now, they're actually really good kids. I like them a lot, but I know money changes people. And I'm just telling you this, guys. So if you have money, you might want to make sure your money is very protected, because even people you love, when it comes to money, things change. This is the one way you can get your money protected. Put it in different entities, in different partnerships, etc. So this is a wonderful way. It's part of your gold plan, actually. Now, it's part of the gold. This is part of this. You all get that as well. Now, we're ready for our test. I'm your live trading right now. So I want you to get a piece of paper, something to write with. We're going to take into account what you've learned yesterday, kind of what you learned today, and I want you to, I'm gonna take a stocks chart. I've taken off a few things and I've covered it up. I just did this